the sports themed Preppin datas, it seems only right that we go back to a subject that I'm more comfortable with, mainly Pokemon cards. So let's take a look at the data that we've got. So we bring in this data and we can see that we've got both of the sets here together. We know the numbers of each of the cards, and we can see the names of the cards and what level the Pokemon are on those cards. So these are just for the Pokemon, which is why they all have a level associated with them. And we can see that each Pokemon name has the gym leader's name before it as well. So our first job is to do a split. So splitting on that apostrophe S so that we get the gym leader in one field and the Pokemon name in the other. So for me, the split functionality wasn't working in Tableau Prep, so just going to the name, going to split values, custom split, and doing apostrophe S. For some reason that wasn't working, so I wrote it as a calculation on its own. So the split function, the name field, the apostrophe S in double quotation marks, and number 1. Maybe it's the when Tableau Prep writes this function automatically with that split function, it does single quotation marks here, so maybe that's why it was having trouble splitting on apostrophe S. I'm not sure, but anyway, I wrote that out. So split with the 1, and then for the second part, the Pokemon name, I took the second part and also wrapped that in a trim function so that there wasn't a leading space with that field. Then I brought in the Pokemon input, so the other input here, the Pokemon table. We take a look at that. We can see the Pokedex numbers, we can see we've got the names, the types, and all the stats associated with Pokemon. We're not caring about any of those stats. All we need is one row for each Pokemon. So for example here, for example with the Abomasnow, it's a grass ice type, so it's got 2 rows associated with it. Abra is only a single type Pokemon, so it only has 1 row associated with it. So to make sure that we get only 1 row for each Pokemon, we use an aggregate step, and we're grouping on both the Pokedex number and the name. And I also took this opportunity for the Pokedex number to trim away the spaces before converting it to a numeric field, so a whole number. So that worked nicely. And then we join those together on the Pokemon equal to the name. Yeah, so the Pokemon from this table, from our blue workflow, and the name from this yellow part of our workflow. And we see that we have 186 rows included, only 124 unique Pokemon, but that's okay because some Pokemon appear multiple times in the sets. Like for example, if we choose my favourite Pokemon, Vulpix, then Blaine has 2 and Brock has 2 as well. So just that alone would explain why we've got more in the join result than we have coming through the individual Pokemon themselves. Then we just remove the additional field, the name that came from this bit, so that we've just got the Pokedex number coming through there. And then we're ready to bring in the other cards from these sets, which is the trainer cards. So we just added a view step to take a look at those. They look like they have similar fields to what we're working with already. So we do a nice union step. I'm actually going to do this union step here, so union those so that we can see all the changes that we need to make. So we can see that the Pokedex number is a mismatch field. That's okay, we're not really expecting there to be anything in there, so that's fine. Pokemon again, we're expecting that to be a mismatch field, so that's fine. But the gym set and the set name, those two can go together. So we can click on the gym set and then go down to the set name and do the little plus button, and it will merge those 2 fields together, so stack those 2 fields on top of one another. If I scroll to the right there, I can see that it's taken the name of gym set, the first field that I select when I'm doing that merge. And then we want to do similar things for the number. We can see that this time it gets highlighted. Tableau Prep's recommending that we merge those 2 together. And then our card and name, those are actually the 2 same fields as well. So here we can see we've got the trainer card names, and then the name field is where we have our Pokemon card names. So we'll just merge those together as well. So we should only have the Pokédex, the level, and the Pokemon fields there as mismatched fields now. Cool, so I just wanted to do that and show you, because when I look in the union step here, you just see the same thing there. So I'll delete that extra union step. Cool. Now let's take a look at that table names field. So it's here in our workflow. So you can see that it has trainer cards for the trainer cards. For the Pokemon cards, it's actually a bit longer because we did that join. So it's got both the table names that it came from, or the file names, shall we say, that it came from. But luckily it still says Pokemon at the end of the slash. So we're going to do a split where we take the last value after the / and that gets us to this field here, where we've got Pokemon and trainer cards. Then we just want to make sure it either says Pokemon or trainer, so we can do another split just on a space this time and get down to just this field here that we renamed to be card type and get rid of those other fields that we split them off from. Lovely. Now let's just take a look at those gym leaders. So we've got all these nulls here, and those are those trainer cards that we joined on that aren't associated with a particular gym leader. And so we just want to rename these null values to be leftover trainers, so we can just type that in there, and that's what we're doing in this step to make sure that they are classified in some way. Now we're ready to bring in this leader order data set. So you can see that this is just literally telling you what order do the gym leaders appear in the Kanto region. So that's going to be helpful for our sorting. So make sure that we join the leader to the leader. Remove unnecessary fields, just that leader-1. And then we're ready to do a little bit of classifying. So it's pretty complex, the logic that we're applying, so let's help ourselves out a little bit. So I created a calculated field here. We know that where the card is equal to the leader name, so for example if it's Brock, the card name is just Brock, then that will be equal to the leader, and in those cases we want those to be the card that goes first. So we assign those to be a 1. We then want next our gym, like the gym that's associated with that leader, to be the next card that appears. So we say if the card contains the word gym, but the leader isn't from the leftover trainers. So that's important because there are some gyms, if I find them quickly, where's my card field? There it is. Let's just search for a gym. You can see Chaos Gym, for example, that isn't associated with the gym leader, it's associated with leftover trainers. So we just want to make sure that we're not giving them a value of 2. So it needs to contain the word gym, and also the leader can't be leftover trainers. So then that gets number 2. Then we know we want trainers to come before Pokemon. So if the card type equals trainer, then give that a number 3. Otherwise, give everything else a 4, and we'll sort that out another way. So this isn't obviously our final order of how the cards are going to go, but it helps us as a stepping stone along the way. So now we're ready for our mammoth rank. So I started by going to the order field and starting there with our rank. So let's take a look at what that looks like in the end. So we're doing a rank with our order. We're making sure to change that so it's in ascending order. Next up we want that card classifying, that calculated field that we created in the previous step. And then with this visual editor we can just go to the edge so that we can make it a bit wider so that we can actually see all of these fields that we're ranking over. And our next one that we go to, so we know that now we've got our gym leaders, our gym, and then our trainer cards. So now we can start thinking about those Pokemon cards and how we want to make sure the Pokemon cards are ordered. So we want to order them by Pokédex number, we want to organize them by level, and we want to organize them by the card number. Actually, the card number comes more towards the leftover trainers and how we want to organize those when we get to that section of our organization. So card number comes with that, and then in any case where we have the same number, I think, for example, 126, the card number, appears in both Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge in the leftover trainers section. So we want to just make sure that they are ordering in the Gym Heroes and then Gym Challenge order. So if I scroll down to that one, that would probably be easier. 126 there, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge. So we just need to make sure that all of our sort orders are ascending, other than the last one, the gym set, where it's descending. Okay, and that's our mammoth rank done. We can see that we've got 252 values, which is the same as our number of rows, so we know that we're organising every single card. There's no ambiguity around that anymore. And so we're ready to just remove the fields that we don't need and output the data. So hopefully you enjoyed this challenge. It's a bit of an insight into how I spend my weekends of organising Pokemon cards in weird and wonderful ways that my brain comes up with. So thank you very much for watching.